Okay, time being 7 p.m., I'd like to call this meeting to order. First, we have the traditional territory acknowledgement, followed by a moment of silence. Council of the Township of Redrock hereby acknowledges that we are on the traditional territory of the Robinson Superior Treaty and that the land we gather on is home to the Redrock Indian Band, the Anishinaabe, and the Métis people. Administration advises that there are no amendments to the agenda. Do any members of council wish to make any amendments? Seeing none. Can I have a mover and seconder for a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Councillor Tedesco, Councillor McDonald. All in favor? All hands rising, motion's carried. Are there any declarations of interest to disclose? Seeing none. Okay, tonight we have Nancy here with a presentation from McSweeney and Associates regarding the Township Strategic Plan. Welcome, Nancy.
Okay, perfect. Great. Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here on behalf of McSweeney and Associates to present your 10-year community strategic plan. I am hoping that you've had a chance to take a read through. It's quite lengthy, so I'm just going to be doing a bit of an overview. I just have to say that I've now been here in the winter and the spring and now the summer for my second time. It is summer now. And I've got to say it's a really special place. And I know that you know that, but it's really a special place, I think, anyway. We're just going to go to why a strategic plan. Why were you doing a strategic plan? I guess the first thing that we talk about is by failing basically to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So everybody's heard that. So that's why you do the strategic plan is it's important to be preparing for your future, as we all do. So really it's all about continuing to build on a strong foundation for the community. So you have a foundation, you just have to keep building on that. It's about engaging with your community, listening to your community and understanding their needs. And I think that was really shown during the whole process through the community strategic plan. It's also about having a clear direction and focus. It allows a township to be strategic with its resources. We know that everybody has limited resources, so you want to be really, really strategic with what you're spending your money on and knowing what you're going to spend your money on. So what we did throughout this process is that we did a quantitative analysis. There was a document review, a data analysis, and situational analysis. You have a copy of that. And it was quite extensive, gave you all the details and data on your community. The next thing we did was a qualitative analysis, looking at the we did online surveys, one-on-one interviews, focus groups. We did a SCORE, which is strengths, challenges, opportunities, aspirations, and results. It's our SWOT analysis. We also did a working session, strategic directions, and action planning session. And what we got at the end was your Township of Redrock 10-year community development strategic plan. So as I talked about the data review, this is just a snapshot of the community, but we also did quite an extensive situational analysis, which we reviewed. And then the community engagement. And I have to say that the community engagement was amazing. You had an unbelievable amount of people that participated. And it was like basically a quarter of your population, which is like amazing. So very impressive. What we did was the one-on-one interviews. We had about 25 people that were interviewed. Online survey, about 77 respondents. Focus groups, about 40 people. And working session, about 40 people. And that's, I know this doesn't add up to 200, but over 200 based on the fact that the schools were participating, students participated as sort of not as part of these formal kind of groups, but they participated on their own and provided information, which was fantastic. It's always great for young people to participate. You also had great participation just in general from every sort of area of the community, between businesses and residents and regional organizations and the local law enforcement. Great, they were out a couple times, which was fantastic, and also the school students. We had some youth out as well, so that was really great. It was a really good overview and got lots of input. As I talked about, we did a score. As you can see, strengths, challenge, opportunity, aspirations, and results. The detailed score is in the strategic plan, but the score is based on sort of the current situation. We look at the current situation involving both sort of all the statistical analysis as well as all of the consultations that we did as well and the results of that. The next thing we did was the corporate engagement, and that was with council and with staff. And that went really well. That was a separate session, and we'll go over some of the results from the corporate engagement a little later. So basically, all that information that we gathered, the whole process that we went through and you went through, is what the community development strategic plan is. It was based on that comprehensive understanding of the township, its economy, businesses and stakeholders, as well as the collective aspirations of the community. So now we'll get into a little bit of the details of the strategic goals and priority actions. I'm not going through all of the actions because there are quite a few of them, but I will go through the 3 goals that came out. The first goal is about sustainably growing the population to continue to maintain the viability of Redrock. The second one is about sustainably growing the local economy to support residents and tourists and visitors. And the third one is about continuing to build a shared sense of community while maintaining its core values. So these goals came out of all of the information that was collected over the process that we went through. And it was agreed to that those were the 3 goals that were the important goals to get Redrock moving into the future. So the first goal is about growing the population. And as you know, you are a bit of an aging and declining population. And really what happens is that when you're declining, sometimes there's business closures, there's less people buying things. There's you don't have the same amenities because you don't have the same tax base, that sort of thing. So really population growth is really important. And I think everybody agreed that it was important to get some more people into the community. So at the end of through goal 1, there's 3 objectives that were set out and 10 actions. So the first objective is to attract an increased number of housing opportunities for seniors, singles, and families to live. Everyone felt that there was a need for housing, and which there is everywhere, it seems like, but a need for housing. And out of this objective, there were 4 actions, and those actions obviously are all around how to increase the number of housing opportunities, including having serviced residential building lots available, and just having an understanding of what the inventory is that's available here. The second one is to develop Redrock's attractiveness in an effort to encourage families to move to Redrock. So under this, there are 4 actions, and those actions are about developing programming for the community center, also about improving community outreach to better inform residents of what's happening locally. There's also an action around daycare and an action around an information piece that sort of highlights the assets of the community that will help attract residents. The next objective is about improving internet connectivity. And we know that internet is so important these days for everybody, including students and educational institutions and businesses. So it's really to continue working with the local internet providers to improve internet connectivity. The other thing that came up was to bring Wi-Fi access to various locations within the community and making sure that those are advertised so that people that need Wi-Fi can access Wi-Fi. The second goal is about growing the local economy to support residents and tourists and visitors. So really, this is about having a strong local economy which supports and strengthens the community. We know that small business keeps local money local and provides local employment, and also helps boost the tax base. Small businesses also bring money into the economy from outside of Redrock, which is really important. So under goal 2, there's 4 objectives and 16 actions. The first objective is about increasing the number of businesses in Redrock while happy to retain the existing businesses. So 5 actions under here, looking at just developing simple things like developing a list of businesses. I understand that you had a meet and greet on Saturday for the businesses. So that was a great start, bringing people together. And I was just told that I was staying at the Redrock Inn, and they were saying, you know, it was great. She didn't know some of the businesses that were here. It's always surprising in a small community, think you know everybody, but obviously that's not the case. So those things are really important to just sort of make sure that people know what businesses are out there, and then they can talk about, you know, go over and see this business and shop there. It's supporting local. And then this next objective is to continue to improve the aesthetics of Redrock to make it an attractive location to do business. So 3 actions under here. It's ensuring that property standards bylaws are enforced, things like supporting the volunteer beautification committee and encouraging local businesses to beautify their storefronts. So again, this is over a 10-year period. So there's quite a few actions, but it's over a 10-year period. The next one is about providing opportunities to support local entrepreneurship. And this is really, there's just one action under here that's been suggested, and that's working with school boards and local entrepreneur groups to encourage and assist local students and residents to start a business in Redrock. So really, it's not necessarily Redrock that's doing this, but there's lots of organizations out there that you can work with that will help support entrepreneurship. The next one is about increasing tourism into Redrock by attracting tourists and visitors to Redrock. So the first initiative action is about initiating and implementing the Redrock RV business plan, park plan. Things like working in partnership with relevant organizations to improve highway signage to get people in. And I think that you're improving that anyway. I've noticed some more signs out there out on the highway, but having the Superior Country here is really advantageous to get people into the community as well. Continuing to develop a relationship with the Redrock Indian Band, developing a comprehensive list of tourism experiences in Redrock and share this list with Superior Country. It sounds like there's going to be really good synergies between the Redrock and Superior Country now that they're here, which is fantastic. And the next goal is about building a shared sense of community while maintaining its core values. So we talked about residents of Redrock are reliant on each other. Small towns, that's the way it is. Everybody's reliant on each other. The residents support and really take pride and understand the community. As the population changes, the culture in the community also undergo changes, and resistance to change and unknown is often met with apprehension, which we talked about quite a bit. Is that, you know, with new people coming in and older people here, and there's change. People maybe aren't sure that change is good, but change is inevitable. So under goal 3, we have 6 objectives and 16 actions. So the first one is about developing a community identity that is consistent with the vision of the community. So that's really building off the engagement of the strategic plan, continuing to work with the community to determine an identifying logo. There's a few logos out there that you have. It's sort of, you know, pick one and use that one all the time for marketing, signage, and community messaging. So just one simple action there. The next one is about ensuring that all newcomers and residents to Redrock are informed of what's happening in the community. It sounds like you guys, again, there was a great turnout on Saturday, so that's happening. And I think now that COVID is sort of waning, we hope that that everybody will be able to get out and start meeting and each other again. So 2 actions under this. One of them was about supporting the efforts of the welcoming committee that's been here. And the other one is revamping the recreation committee, which is the committee that organizes local events. The next objective is about better engaging the students in the schools in Redrock and helping them to be part of the community, even if they don't live in Redrock. There were 3 actions here. It was talking about, students volunteering on community projects, surveying the students in the local schools on an annual basis regarding their needs in the community, and determine sort of what appropriate and financially feasible projects that could be implemented. And the other one is about piggybacking with existing partners that visit local schools. So there's a number of local organizations that go into the schools. So it's not just Redrock staff having to go in on their own. It's participating with other groups as part of that. And so making it sort of a bigger piece when you go into the schools. And the next one is about increasing volunteer base in the community to support the needs of the community. So as we know, volunteers do burn out. There's usually, and there's new people coming into the community. So it's trying to get those new people to participate and become volunteers. And the next one is about establishing a number of informal locations for residents and visitors to congregate and connect in Redrock. And there's 7 actions in here, and they're really quite specific in that there was a talk about having a leash-free dog park, working with local partners to develop a play structure that's located more centrally within the residential area, determining if there's an interest in skate park, working with the high schools to determine about the community gardens that are there, and if they're being used, and if they're not being used by the students, if they can be used by the residents. The other thing is about active recreation parks for seniors, and continuing to increase the number of park benches. So again, over 10 years. So it's not like tomorrow, but yeah, over 10 years. So just to continue doing those sorts of things and continue to update the community center. It seems to be the heart of the community. So just continuing to make that the heart of the community. And the next one is to have one permanent shared location where all services provided by local agents can be held in the community. So this came back to more regional type organizations that have a place where they can come to sort of, so that people in the community know that they're available when they're available, so that they're not always searching for them all over the place. And the other thing is updating the community notice boards. So over 10 years, 13 objectives, 42 actions. It's a lot, but I know some of them are underway already. Some of them are small, some of them are larger. Some of them are ongoing. So you got your work cut out for you, but I think you're well on your way. The next section that we're going to talk about is the priority actions for the corporate, which is the internal organization, the staff and the council that we met with. And so there were a number of sort of objectives that were required here, that we had really good discussion with the staff. There's been some struggles, I think, in the past, but everybody was very passionate about about their community, and as well as council, and everybody wanted to make sure that Redrock was the best place to live and to work. So the first one about building effective teams, that's council and staff together, and that everyone's moving together and moving forward in the same direction. So 4 actions here, talking about a common corporate vision. At the beginning of each term of council, educating council and staff on individual roles and responsibilities of council and staff. Keeping lines of communication open between council and staff, and developing regularly scheduled team building opportunities that are minimal cost but really help to build the team. The next one is about continuing to communicate with residents on a consistent basis through multiple media options on key issues and successes. So 2 actions here. I know that it's difficult to make sure that everybody knows everything all the time. No matter how many ways you do it and how many different places you put the information, there's always somebody that doesn't seem to know. But it's just continuing to make sure that you provide that information, which I know that you are doing, but really keeping those residents informed of activities. And that can be through the website, through scheduled newsletters, and development and implementation of social media plan. And again, these came from staff and council, all of these actions. So it was your input and staff. The other one, talking about after each election, organizing and implementing an opportunity to introduce new members of council and provide an opportunity for residents to meet staff. So just having an open house or town hall, whatever you want to call it, but just making sure people are updated and know who new council is and staff. The next one is about updating policies and guidelines to ensure that they're current and relevant. And I know you're working on that right now. It does take time. It may take you 10 years to do that, but it does take time to do it for sure. Educating staff and council on current code of conduct was discussed. Continually updating job descriptions. They change and people change. So it's always good to have those updated, and updating all outdated bylaws. So again, it may take you 10 years, but it's something that's important over those years. And the other one is to engage staff and improve the decision-making process. So staff wants to be involved, and they want to participate, and they want to, one of the things that they did come up with that was they wanted to have a 3-year outline of annual staff training requirements. They're going to provide that. They wanted to provide that to you so that it's in the budget, so that when these training requirements are needed, they can go and do that right away, because there are obviously things, a lot of the training is essential that needs to be done. And the other one was just that they wanted to develop an annual capital budget together. So, and it's one that complements the operational budget. So the corporate objectives over 10 years, 4 objectives, 11 actions. And so, like I said, that's quite extensive. There's a lot of things that need to be done. What we are going to be giving you as well, and I did give that to Mark, is an implementation plan, and we're going to go over that. So what the implementation plan is, it's like a work plan. So each of those actions that have come up in the strategic plan, we're going to go through each of those actions, and we'll develop a timeline, be it short-term, immediate, something in 8 years, 10 years, whatever. Also financial. So just give you sort of a ballpark. Is there a cost to it? Is it staffing? That sort of thing. And so you'll have that to be able to follow. And it's a work plan that you can make changes on. So it's a living document. So, if something comes up in the budget in 2023 and it's really in 2025, if you can do it in 2023, then you could do it in 20. So it's a living document. It's not something that necessarily would come to council, but it's something for you and staff. So that's it. I really want to say that it's been a real pleasure working with all of you. It's been great to be up in Redrock, and like I said, I really love it up here. It's beautiful, and I think you've got a really strong foundation that you're working from already. We really wish you all success over the next 10 years, and we are available. McSweeney and Associates are always available. If there's any questions you have for us, please feel free to call us and ask us the questions, or whatever you need, we're there. So even though might be the last time I'm up for a while, that we're there. So that's it.
Thank you. Any members of council have any questions or comments? Councilor McDonald.
Is this the final draft?
Yes.
Oh, I'm just asking because like the new census is out. Is there any way that has this been printed off, and could we just get that part updated?
We don't have it all yet, because the census data comes out over quite a year. Yes.
Okay.
So it might be something that you might want to come back to us in when that's all done. Because they just provide us with like little snippets and then of information over the next year, I guess.
Oh,
It
okay.
is. Yeah. So maybe just remember that and that could be something.
Yeah,
that
just
could be-
because it would be nice, just because 2016 is so,
I
it
know.
seems like such a long time ago that it would be
Yes.
nice to just get that little portion up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a great document. I do see us, we have been doing a lot of these items, a lot of the smaller action items. And obviously there's a lot of things that we're doing that people probably don't know about. So we have to work on providing that information to the community. So we do have somewhere to work on that part for sure.
It's
Thank
awful.
you. Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad, 10 years is a long time and that's a lot of items, but I'm sure, with the rest of like this term and the next term and future councils, they're willing to work on this document and get all those things done.
Yeah. And as people come and go, then you have that,
Right,
that document that you can follow.
for sure.
Yeah.
Councillor Muir?
When does that work plan become available?
When do you want to work on that, Mark? I've already started it, but I need your, I'll need your input as well.
Yeah, and we can start that anytime. It might be beneficial for us to I should have Ashley back in the office, hopefully very shortly. And I mean, she was a big part of this as well. So we can make that available shortly for sure.
Whenever I'm available, whenever you
sure.
want to start.
Yeah, and I'll double check with kind of how that plan is going, and then I'll touch base. I'll touch base later this week.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Seeing none, can I have a mover and seconder for motion? Council approve the strategic plan presented by McSweeney Associates. Councillor Muir, Councillor Park. All in favor? Hands rising, motion's carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the opened and closed session minutes of the last regular meeting, June 13th, are at items 5.1 of the agenda. Are there any errors or omissions to note in the minutes? Seeing none, can I have a mover and seconder for a motion to approve the minutes at items 5.1? Councillor Park, Councillor Tedesco. All in favor? All hands are rising, motion's carried. Okay, first item 6.1 is resolutions from other communities seeking support. Do any members of council have any questions? Councillor Muir.
Yeah, so Aurora looks like they've been busy. I guess the first one, they're looking for some funding. This is a letter of support for funding, which I thought was great for regards to the firefighting. And the second one, as well as the CARES law, thought was something that I'd like to see supported as well.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, I'll read through the motions and then we'll go from there. Is there a mover and seconder for motion to support the correspondence from the town of Aurora regarding mandatory firefighter certification? Councillor McDonald. Councillor Muir. All in favor? All hands rising, motion's carried. Is there a mover and seconder for motion to support the correspondence from the town of Aurora regarding private members, Bill C-233, CARES law? Councillor Tedesco, Councillor Muir. All in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. Next item 6.2 is information purposes only relating to an update on the DSAB board. Do any members of council have any questions? Seeing none. 7.1 is the minutes from the Redrock Public Library Board meeting May 10th, 2022. Do any members of council have any questions regarding the minutes? Is there a mover and seconder for motion to receive the minutes? Councillor Park, Councillor McDonald. All in favor? All hands rising, motion's carried. Okay, item 8.1 is a report from Director of Operations. Mr. Westerman is busy doing some operational work tonight. So Mr. Figurini will give any updates if you have any questions or concerns.
Oh, they're busy. I mean, I can give a small update on the projects. They are going as planned with some hiccups along the way. Best way to describe it is, I mean, if and I discussed this with the mayor this morning, if you're doing a job, a personal job, things go wrong, right? It's a big project for us in Redrock, but all in all, it's going well. As big as the project is for us, it is kind of small potatoes to the contractors too. So it's sometimes the communication piece is a bit of a struggle. We're learning through the process. There's definitely things that are going very well, and there's definitely small tweaks we'd make if we had to do these projects again. But it's definitely a learning curve. Like I said, Blair's out working tonight, doing some sampling in that. So it's been a bit of a test for us, but I can report that it's going quite well.
I just have a comment. We do seem to have a lot of potholes or other, some road improvement, not around these project areas. So that's something that we will have to kind of address and not just probably fill them in, but I don't know what we can do or how much that's going to cost, but it just seems to have gotten really bad over this last year anyways, as everywhere else.
And I'll definitely take notes and discuss that with Blair and Trevor on a plan for that.
Councillor McDonald.
I just wanted to mention about the arena roof again. Somebody was looking into that after the big windstorm and.
Yeah, we were in there today. We do have somebody was actually on site today looking at that. We have lost, shingles in the last couple of windstorms. You can see if you're in the arena, you can see right through the roof. So there was a gentleman on site today. We were quite aware of it. It just took a bit of time, a few days anyway, to get somebody in, but it's being addressed at this point. We're taking the approach that we're going to patch those areas. It's really all we can do at this point. It's a temporary fix, but definitely we're on it. And
the amount of wind we've been getting too.
It's
crazy.
Yeah. If you take a good look, it's a concern for sure. There's a few spots. So we're definitely on it.
Any other questions or comments on the report? Okay, seeing none, is there a mover and seconder for a motion to receive the report? Councillor Park, Councillor McDonald. All in favor? All hands rising, motion's carried. Okay, 8.2 is a report from the fire chief. Do any members of council have any questions of Chief Petrie?
Hey, Ryan, I just wanted to just see how the raffle's going. And do you want to discuss that a little bit, just let people know what's going on?
So the Canada Day raffle is pretty close to being sold out. The members have been doing a great job of organizing that. And yeah, it's great support from the communities and other local communities around us. Every year, everybody supports us, which is great. So hopefully after this raffle, we'll move on to our Christmas raffle and continue doing it going forward.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Online support, no? Okay, is there a mover and seconder for a motion to appoint Graham Hetrick as a probationary firefighter? Councillor Muir, Councillor Tedesco. All in favor? Hands rising, motion's carried. Thank you, Chief Petrie.
Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Okay, is there a mover and seconder for a motion to receive the report? Councillor Park. Councillor McDonald. All in favor? Hands rising, motion's carried. Okay. Okay, information on weight room treadmill purchase. So maybe Mark would be able to give us some information on that.
Yeah, so we are in need of a commercial treadmill. We do have issues with one treadmill we're looking to replace. Why this? So we have two treadmills that we've looked at. Actually, we looked at three and brought the two with the recommendation. It comes to council. It does. We do have monies in I guess it's a reserve fund in a way from our recreation facility where we do allocate money for equipment. So the money is there. It needs a resolution of council to make the purchase. As you can see, they're both light, what they would call light commercial treadmills, very comparable to the ones we've got, kind of what the members like and what they're comfortable with at the facility. If you look at the first one, which is actually the cheapest one as well, it's available basically right away. We could order that treadmill and have it here by the end of June. And the second treadmill as an option is a little bit more expensive and it's not available to July. So we did talk with the company. We compared it to the treadmill we have, and by our recommendation, we would recommend just ordering right away and getting the one here by the end of June. And I think we'll be just fine with that one.
Anyone have any questions? Oh, Councillor Tedesco.
Mark, what are the people that are using the equipment, what are they recommending, or do they know what's been proposed?
Yeah, so the one that we got the most feedback from is the one we have. It's unavailable at this point. You can't get it anymore. So what we did is compared them. We did a comparison as to what we had, provided them with the model and the make of what we had, and these are the three they came up with. We brought the two because the other one was unavailable for a lot longer time frame. So from the best information we can get is this will be very comparable to the one that we have in our facility that is well received by the members.
You're talking about the $3,000 one?
Correct.
And what are the users? Are they familiar at all with these items? Have the users at the
With this particular make, model, and brand,
yeah,
we have never had this particular, but we have had multiple brands in the past. The one that is there now is unavailable. As I said, you can't buy it any longer. So these are the comparable options that we have that were provided by the supplier.
what I'm wanting to know is what's the recommendation obviously by yourself, but also by the people that are using this equipment?
Well, we certainly didn't run a study of every member. We got feedback from a few members that said, hey, these ones are a lot better. We had complications with the other, and then we tried to compare it to what we had. So it's kind of it's one of those things, there's multiple different options and varieties. We're trying to compare with what we have because we do get feedback that what we have is very good. So this is the best closest option we can get for that.
So one is 68.96, right? 24 cents, and the other one is 55.91. They're both commercial lightweight treadmills. So
38.96.
what did I say? 38.
68.
Oh, sorry.
So it is the number
38,
one.
yeah.
It is the first one that
Is what
we
we're
recommend
recommending.
based on the price and the availability.
Okay. Okay, can I have a mover and seconder for a motion that council of the Township of Redrock approve the purchase of a new treadmill for the Redrock Fitness Center in the amount of $38.96.24, including tax to be taken from the Plan 24 Savings Weight Club account. Councillor Park. Councillor McDonald. All in favor? Hands rising, motion is carried. Okay, 9.1 is the bylaw to establish tax ratios in the Township of Redrock. Does council have any questions of administration? Councillor McDonald?
Are these like similar to what it was last year? I didn't have a copy of last year's.
Yeah. For sure. It's probably good to give a little summary. So I'm glad you. So what we have with the budget is a very complicated process. Obviously, when you get into tax ratios, tax rates, tools, levy, it all can get very somewhat complicated at times. But this is exactly what comes to the table every year. It's part of the municipal act. So yes, the numbers are the same as they were last year in these rates. And it just requires council approval on each one to go through for the process. So there hasn't been any changes that have come to the table. And this is again part of the completing of the process with budget for 2022.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, is there a mover and seconder for a motion to approve the bylaw? Councillor Muir, Councillor Park. All in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. Okay, 9.2 is the bylaw to establish limits for property class. Does council have any questions of administration? Councillor McDonald?
I just assume this is same, right? Same.
Yeah, all four are basically procedural. They're all the same. They go through the council table every year, correct? Yep.
Is there?
Unless there's a change, which I believe there was a change last year to one, but yes, but you're correct on that. There has been no changes this year. Those changes would be brought to council long before this time. Yeah.
Is there a mover and a seconder for a motion to approve the bylaw? Councillor Tedesco, Councillor McDonald. All in favor? All hands rising, motion's carried. Okay, 9.3, a bylaw to adopt optional tools in the Township of Redrock. Does council have any questions of administration? Councillor Tedesco.
Mark, can you give us an explanation that sounds very interesting? Optional tools.
So optional tools, again, it's complicated, but what these bylaws allow us to do is work through the municipal act and any available option that's there. Again, we have to follow the municipal act, but it goes into capping. Again, we don't have any changes, so but it allows you, if you wanted as a council, to make changes that are allowable under the municipal act. So it's again procedural. It's a bit of a hard one to explain. What you're approving is your administration to work under the municipal act and the allowable options that are there for us, to pass our tax rates, our ratios, and ultimately pass the budget, which we've done. So we don't get into capping and those kind of issues here in Redrock. But in order to finish the procedure of passing the budget, we have to pass these annual bylaws. So they're more, I guess, procedural than anything in our case.
Mark, I think it's important for the public to be aware these are highly technical, complicated things that you got to follow whatever the legislation says. And it's got to be very, very difficult for yourself and your team to sort of carry through all the requirements. And God bless you for all that you've done.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? Other questions or comments? Is there a mover and seconder for motion to approve the bylaw? Councillor Park. Councillor McDonald. All in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. Okay, items 9.4 is a bylaw to set the levy for the 2022 tax rates. The council have any questions of administration? Seeing none, is there a mover and seconder for motion to approve the bylaw? Councillor Muir, Councillor Park. All in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. Okay, there's no new business. Unfinished business are items 11.1 to 11.4. Is there any members of the council have any questions? Councillor Muir.
I guess I wouldn't mind circling back to 11.1 now, recreation master plan.
Yeah. So I was going to touch base on these as kind of removing them from I mean, not removing them from unfinished business, but carrying them on. As we do move forward with the recreation plan, we do, and we have brought in a recreation program coordinator intern. So I think we're working hard on that now. She's engaging the community, trying her best to kind of gauge what we want in the community. So it's a little bit of a process now. She's developing a survey now as well. She attended the session on the weekend, and so I think the recreation master plan, we can continue to update council, but I ultimately and get council's input as we move forward. I don't know if it's an unfinished business item as per se anymore, but we'll continue. I can assure you that we're working on that. We're striving for that, and I think in 1 week it's definitely improved. There's a lot of energy there, and I'm optimistic for what will happen. So I think that unfinished business part I was going to recommend coming off, as well as the business recognition program, not really coming off our radar, but we've had a bit of a slower uptake in that from a social media point. But I mean, we had an event on the weekend that hit that. I think as we work together, I think we got to do more of that, working together as a municipality and the Welcome Committee, for example, and we can tie together programs like that. So instead of leaving it there as unfinished business, knowing that we're working on these and we'll continue to bring that to council. And recycling options from environmental committee, the same. I think we had the survey out this weekend. We can continue to do that in an electronic version. What I would recommend is we wait to get those documents back, see how many were out. I did get a few more filtering into the office today, and then we continue that process with an electronic version. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't know if we need to leave it there as unfinished business, just letting you know that we are they're on our radar. We're working on all of them, and we'll continue to update council as there's a change there. Unless council wants that there, and then we'll certainly keep that there.
I'm fine with them being removed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, and as far as the recreation master plan, as we talked about, like the recreation committee and events planning committee, I mean, because I know they were looking for volunteers already, right, for committees and people for Canada Day, so maybe that's something we can discuss and come up with a plan there. And again, we're at the last leg of the race here, so next term, I guess, so to look at.
Yeah, and I think as we gather data and reach out to the community, I know there's been an intake of people looking to get involved. There's been some. There's also been a great outreach to our partners in the community. So it'll take a bit of time. I know even Nancy referred to volunteer burnout. There's definitely room to improve it. It's also, like you say, we got to keep the momentum going, and then we got to kind of move into the next stage as we kind of move forward or try to move forward. So it's positive. I think good things are happening, and we'll continue to keep council abreast as to what's going on.
Okay, any other questions or comments on unfinished business? Councilor Tedesco.
I don't know if it's unfinished business, but this weekend was really quite fantastic for what's happened. And shout out to the Canadian Legion that has done so much for us, especially a big shout out to the welcoming committee that have really gone above and beyond the call of duty. This is really fantastic. Now, coming back to the Legion, if there's something that the municipality can do to support the Legion, whether it's in kind or whether it's some kind of, they're really experiencing the difficulties with volunteers, and they don't have as much income as they have in the past. For what they've contributed to our community and continue to contribute tonight, they've got a house full of people over there right now. So let's keep them in mind at all times, whenever possible.
Oh, for sure. And we're putting a focus on that community partnership, right? Whether it's, I mean, even recreation isn't the greatest way to put it. It's more community involvement, and it hits all ages, whether you're 4 or 84, right? And that's kind of where we're focusing. I would like to just highlight that tomorrow evening there will be a website consultation seminar for the community here in this building. It's another big piece of where we need to be moving forward. It hits a lot of the points in our strategic plan, as well as our daily routine, where we can get that information out a lot better. We can streamline some of our services, and we can make it more user friendly, because our website, generally speaking, is not all that user friendly at this point. So just wanted to highlight that it is a community forum in here in this building. I believe there's one at 6:30 and one at 7:30 tomorrow. So just invite the community out for that as well.
Okay, next item is a bylaw to confirm proceedings of council. May I have a mover and seconder for motion to pass the bylaw? Councillor Park, Councillor McDonald. All in favor? Lines rising, motion is carried. Okay, time being 7:53. There's no other business to attend to. The meeting is adjourned.